Are Tony Khan's tweets hurting AEW? That is the big question that I'm asking in today's video, and honestly, it's not. But there's a huge but. Now, I really want to preface this by saying, if you follow my content and you actually hear the words that come out of my mouth, you know that there are things I like about AEW, and there are things I don't like about AEW. I do not hate watch a certain product or any product for that matter. I'm always transparent in my videos about how I feel about a program. This is why you will see a lot of consistency in what I'm saying and how it doesn't change. However, you need to decipher the difference between Tony Khan being trolled and disrespected. Because Tony Khan has been going off on Twitter as of late, and some people believe it is hurting the company, and I don't think it is, but like I said, there's a huge but. These are some of the tweets that we're talking about. Tony Khan responding to a fan that says, "We were watching NXT, Big Dog." He says, "Then I wasn't talking to you and you don't even follow me, so why reply?" And then he posts this incredible gif of Roddy Strong, who gives a FUCK. There was a tweet right here with Shawn Michaels, AI-generated photo of him, Booker of the Year. Tony Khan says, "Actually, I'm pretty sure that last night blew whatever chance he had at winning that award." I thought it was funny, but at the same time, too, who really gives a shit about the awards that Meltzer gives out for Booker of the Year? Me personally, I know Tony Khan loves to book for the IWC. He loves this, right? He loves wrestling and he loves the IWC, and that's like his main audience. So of course, trying to book for the IWC is not something in particular that I necessarily agree with. People will disagree with me on this, but I kind of stand firm on that. I would try to listen not to the vocal minority, but to the vocal majority. I think he puts a little too much stock in the stuff that Dave Meltzer and everybody else reports and talks about and stuff like that, but it's a problem. Those were a couple of the funny tweets. There's some other ones where he's talking about ratios and stuff, but people also need to understand that Tony Khan has also responded to people that have gone through similar situations as Tony Khan did with his mother, and he responded with a lot of positivity for a lot of people, which is fantastic. You'll see if you go to his channel or his account, you'll see that that is a trend where he will wish people luck or whatever it may be. Somebody tweets a fake image. "This is not a war." Tony Khan says, "I must have missed it when Brian tweeted that." Again, obvious troll here because Brian Alvarez clearly did not tweet that. That was not the real numbers for NXT, nor was it the real numbers for AEW. Tony Khan put out this tweet. He says, "This week, 2 active decade-long rating streaks from 2 great legends were ended. With all due respect, until this week's head-to-head AEW on TBS versus WWE on USA, neither John Cena nor Undertaker have ever been on a WWE show with under 1 million total viewers, plus under 400K in the demo." Immediately after that tweet, he is promoting Penta and Jay White. Look at the engagement. It went from 5.6 million to 698,000. But again, now he goes and becomes a promoter, and you'll see him promoting his shows throughout. But there was something that was very interesting. He put out a tweet about his mother. So he says, "This weekend marks 1 year since Mayo Clinic saved my mom's life. During her ordeal, many AEW talent came to me alleging that WWE was tampering, inducing them to break their contracts. I'll never forget these phone calls at her side in the hospital. It's when business became personal for me." He says, "Not that I should be surprised, but the same WWE avatar accounts that spam me every day, no matter what I say or what it's about, now turning their wrath to my mom recovering from a near-death experience is why I straight up hate these people to the bottom of my heart with all my soul." He then goes on to say that his mom is doing very well. But again, you can see some of the stuff where he's, "Hey, I'm sorry for your loss." But then at the same time, the next tweet is, "You insulted my mom. Take this ratio personally." You'll see different types of responses if you go to his account. And then again, he's promoting his shows. Now that you kind of have an overall idea of the tweets, I want to talk about this because I don't think Tony Khan's tweets are hurting AEW, but the reality is that it could hurt AEW. It could hurt AEW when your tweets are targeting WWE. Okay. Whether you like WWE, hate WWE or not, it doesn't really matter. WWE is the number 1 company. AEW is not the number 1 company. They are the number 2 company, and they're a good number 2 company, and there's nothing wrong with them being a challenging brand or a number 2 company. The problem is when you are the number 2 company and you are targeting these people and their product, I think it's ridiculous. I don't think anybody should really be coming to the defense of AEW or WWE on the app. But when you're targeting these people and you're saying things about WWE, this number 2 company is going to get the wrath of it on social media. The problem is it's either resulting in really disrespectful tweets or trolls. And Tony Khan needs to not respond to the trolls. Okay, if you're being disrespected, you should obviously defend yourself if you so choose. But the fact is, people are trolling Tony Khan and he's getting baited into it. Now, the thing is, I think what Tony Khan really needs to do is actually just focus on his product. If people are trolling you and you're getting bothered by it or whatever, you can respond if you want. But if you're being disrespected, your family's being disrespected, of course, I feel like you should kind of be able to say what you want. But the reality is a lot of people are trolling Tony Khan, and the reason why they're trolling Tony Khan is because Tony Khan and AEW have made it such a big thing. It's become so relevant on the internet to talk about ratings and talk about demo that when AEW goes on to Tuesday to challenge WWE and they lose, it is opening the door for them to flood you with all of these troll comments. And I don't think social media, honestly, a lot of people don't realize this. I don't like the app. I'd rather talk on Discord or YouTube or, things like that. I don't think X is a fun app anymore. It's not a fun app. There's a lot of bullshit that comes with it. If I say something pro AEW, I have WWE fans who call me a WWE mark or I'm biased or whatever. And if I say anything critical whatsoever of AEW, no matter what it is, it could be the most tiniest thing or the largest thing ever, people will literally bury me on social media. And the reality is there's a lot of troll accounts. I'm sure there's bot accounts. I'm sure there's a lot of these things that exist. And I think it's funny sometimes. Me personally, I never take it personal because at the end of the day, it's not real life. I understand that everything I'm doing is what I want to do and I'm happy in life. But I understand that some of these people may not have that in their life. So they're upset, they're trolling, that's their comfort level, whatever. There's no excuse for it, but they do it. I don't take it personally. But at the same time, too, that's where it could become this bubble. Because if Tony Khan is focused on creating the best product possible, and if he's putting on the best episodes every single week, he doesn't have to talk about WWE, and then he won't have to respond to these types of tweets. Because the reality is, when your product is really good and your business is really good, people will do the talking for you. And it feels like, as of late, Tony Khan is the one doing all of the talking. I've seen people on social media say, this is turning me away from the AEW product because now it makes me look like I'm not allowed to be a WWE fan anytime I criticize AEW. And I totally understand that notion. I don't think this is hurting AEW, but it could hurt AEW. In the long run, if you're constantly challenging WWE and you're constantly talking about WWE and you're constantly, highlighting WWE's downfalls, or you make a tweet about John Cena and Undertaker as like a little jab, when you do these little jabs, the problem is that number one company has the ability to fight back, and you can't back away at that point in time. And that's what happened when WWE saw that AEW was coming on to Tuesday. They brought in the big wigs. We could sit here and call it desperate. We can call it whatever, but it's a business and it's a competition, and they're trying to beat out their competition. So the reality is, my friends, that's just the way it is. So when you keep on poking the bear, it's going to have them do things that, and I talked about it before. I said, I saw a tweet from like 2019. Everybody wants competition for WWE until they see how WWE treats their competition. And I think a lot of that sticks with me. I think AEW is doing well these days, but I also need to be honest and tell you guys, if you continue to have this anti-WWE approach, it could work in the short term, but I think it will be a turnoff in the long term, especially when you guys share some of the same fans. And I think for some people, they look at it as like, wow, even if I say something good about AEW, the next time I criticize AEW, now I'm a hater. It's like, I understand where everybody's coming from, and I want to talk about it because ultimately I don't think it's hurting AEW, but it has potential to hurt AEW. I like Tony Khan. I might not agree with everything Tony Khan does. Tony Khan probably doesn't give a rat's ass about me, and that's fine. I'm not asking Tony Khan to book the product for me. I created my YouTube channel just to talk about my opinions on wrestling, and I've always remained consistent on it, and I will always remain consistent on it. At the end of the day, that's just the way it is. But I do want AEW around. I don't think this will kill AEW. I don't think anything like that. But I don't want this war to WWE actually become a war where now WWE is trying to get rid of AEW or AEW is trying to get rid of WWE, because I just want multiple options for fans. And I think that's something I've been talking about for way too long in my life, and we finally have it again after like 20 years, and it's legitimate. There's great companies out there. The industry's healthy. I'd much rather see that than one company trying to take out the other or the other company trying to take out the other. That's how I feel.